on, people.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Political leader and opposition leader, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa, members of the National Executive, parliamentary colleagues, activists, in your few numbers here, given our protocols in place. I must begin by saying to the political leader that when you put together a platform like this tonight, even the lion could feel intimidated. It is such a hard act to follow. Senator Lyda, Senator Anil Roberts, Senator Lakshmi Dayal, and I think it's Wade Mark to come after, and we heard, of course, the legend, Dr. Tim Gopi Singh. So, I would try as modest and humbly as I can, but it's an important evening for us to address you in Trinidad and Tobago, and our supporters, well-wishers, family members of the UNC across the United States, Canada, Europe, listening to us in the Caribbean as well. There's great interest in the policies, programs, and perspectives of Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the UNC. Today, brothers and sisters, we meet during a glorious period for humanity, but a dark day for Trinidad and Tobago. At the same time, during this period, our Hindu brothers and sisters celebrated Navratam. Our Muslim brothers and sisters observe the holy month of Ramadan, and our Christian brothers and sisters undertake the sacrifice and prayer during Lent and the Holy Week. How blessed we are to have all in Trinidad and Tobago as a rainbow family. But how cursed we are to have the PNM. Today we continue to witness the destruction of our once proud nation. This country was described as the jewel of the Americas during the reign of the UNC. We have gone from the jewel of the Americas to everything falling apart. And I beg to differ with our CARICOM colleague, Dr. Jagdev. I think everything fall apart already. It is not falling apart, it fall apart already. Rowley has turned our once Caribbean economic powerhouse into a parlor with empty shelves. With the latest brutal increase in fuel cost, we now have to find a bicycle to go to our work if we have a work to go to. Today, if you can tell me one thing they have built, I can tell you one thing that they have not destroyed. The hypocrisy and incompetence of Rowley is so blatant, brothers and sisters. Rowley last week went to the platform and spoke about moving Lake Asphalt to the Ministry of Works and the scarcity of bitumen. This man is deceptive, is a hypocrite. This is hypocrisy at its height. Keith Rowley shut down the Pointe-à-Pierre refinery that made bitumen as a byproduct of the refining process. Today he's speaking about bitumen. He said it's scarce, we can't buy. We can't buy because you shut down the blasted refinery. That is why today we cannot fix a pothole. They cannot pave a road because we have no bitumen. We import at escalating daily costs. Bitumen from Jamaica, from Suriname. Would you believe also from Eastern Europe? While we had Petrotrin refinery. Lake Asphalt must find US dollars to import bitumen. What a shame. Lake Asphalt bust now. When we left in 2015, we left Lake Asphalt with $279 million in cash. It is in the audited statements. Today they cannot pay wages. What a shame. Bitumen is now unavailable and expensive. This is why Port of Spain now full of pothole and bad road in Port of Spain. Brothers and sisters, we have the worst capital in the Caribbean. And the roads across the country are in a worse state. A fire brigade or ambulance cannot pass to save lives. In Pinal de Bay, or Pinia Dubal, as Keith Scotland is fond to say, the roads are unimaginable. Bridges have collapsed. Drains and rivers overrun with slush, garbage. And what about the refinery? 4 years now they're negotiating to sell it, to lease it. 4 years now. What about patriotic energies and technologies of the OWTU? They get the refinery yet? They're negotiating 4 years now. Today, the once proud national asset of Eric Williams, Basdev Pandey, Patrick Manning, Kamla Prasad Bisasa, that proud asset, the refinery, is now all iron under Rowley, waiting for a scrap dealer to dismantle and cart it away. Brothers and sisters, if you try to plug back on that refinery, you will blow up half of Trinidad. It is scrap iron today. Rowley arrogance knows no bounds. You know, recently in the parliament, he advised the MP for Naparima. He said, if you like Guyana, go to Guyana. You know what happened there? The whole of the Caribbean gone Guyana. The CPL finals for the next 3 years is in Guyana. And they left us with a $1.2 billion Brian Lara Stadium, the most expensive cricket stadium in the Western Hemisphere. They left us so we could throw a party in the car park, while cricket is in Guyana. I want to assure cricket lovers that as soon as Rowley leave, CPL will return to Trinidad and Tobago. As a result of Rowley's malice and incompetence, the entire construction sector is migrating to Guyana. Today, brothers and sisters, if you have a truck, a tractor, a backhoe, a whacker, a shovel, a spade, you want to take it to Guyana to see if you could get work. Everything migrating. Only the PNM friends and family can foster any contracts for themselves. And this man has the gall, he stand on the platform and say, he's prime minister, and you're stupid if you take apartments. They have a clip with him, I think we can show it.
Ladies and gentlemen, these are the facts, F-A-X. You had to be a kind of jackass to be prime minister and purchasing an apartment.
Now, which prime minister was fingered with apartments in Tobago? Is accused of having some kind of apartment in Miami as well. It is the same Jack. It is the same one he's describing. He's describing himself in that video in Renaissance. This man in public service for 30 years, and he about 7 to 10 property, you know. That is a fact. 1 year. He worked 1 year in the private sector and they throw him out from that too. Brothers and sisters, he's undermining the police service today, and I want to get to that quickly. One of the most glaring and obscene signs of a dictatorship is the undermining, manipulation, and control of the police and law enforcement. They have overthrown the Constitution and undermined the rule of law. They have swiftly made the TTPS their plaything. The Constitution provides that the Director of Public Prosecution is responsible for prosecution in Trinidad and Tobago. The DPP advises the police on prosecution. That's why police officers seek guidance and advice from the DPP on criminal matters. It is enshrined in the Constitution, the role of the DPP. Today, they have subcontracted the office of the DPP. They have privatized the DPP office by hiring a British firm. And always remember, England has no written constitution, unlike Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago government, Rowley, hired some years ago a British company named Edmonds, Marshall, and McMahon, EMM, to direct and advise the TTPS on going after political opponents of the PNM and Keith Rowley. They have been paid a staggering $40 million so far using scarce foreign exchange. A businessman cannot get $200 in the bank, but $40 million they have been paid. You will see on your screen, they arrived yesterday at Piarco International. Somebody was there to greet them with a camera. Look, she there, look. SRP Kate McMahon. I think she's a superintendent SRP. Eh? They arrived yesterday, whisk away with police siren and blue lights, police cars and vans and so on. When you have a crime in your neighborhood, you can't find a police car. Look them in the airport now, picking them up, taking them to where we believe is Hyatt, and the TTPS is paying the bill there too. Estimated at a weekly cost of about $50,000. For these people to stay there at your expense. Look at them in Piarco, arriving yesterday. They think only them is investigator, you know. But I have more to say coming to that now. They have been paid $40 million. That team, led by Kate McMahon, they are trying to interview her there, and she said, no comment, no comment. The superintendent SRP, her website says that she works for high-end Word clients. Now that means Rowley's a high-end client. The PNM is a high-end client. That is them at Piaco yesterday, brothers and sisters. But they are trying to do the work of the DPP. While the DPP complains that he has no resources to deal with bail applications, every parliamentary joint select committee, the DPP comes all the time. And poor fella, he come and say, look, we don't have human resources. We don't have material resources. We don't have place enough for people. He complains for years for the PNM that he has no resources, but they have $40 million to give this team on a political witch hunt. Senator Lachmidial told you before. The local police have recommended that they discontinue this team, discontinue their work because they have done enough and they have reached nowhere in investigating, hounding down, harassing former members of the UNC government and the partnership government. But they continue. Brothers and sisters, the former commissioner of police, Gary Griffith, alerted us that the government surreptitiously passed money to the TTPS with instruction that the $40 million was not to be used to fix police car. That was not to be used to buy bulb for police station. That was not to be used to pay outstanding monies to police constable, corporal, and sergeant, and so on. That money was not to be used to fix CCTV cameras. That money was not to be used to buy paper and pen and small notebook for police officers. It was to be used to pay Superintendent SRP Kate McMahon and her team to engage in hounding down on a witch hunt, which the TTPS said was not necessary. Brothers and sisters, the former commissioner of police makes a most important point. It may have passed you, but this is the critical point. He said that they were hounding, harassing, and sorting to direct the TTPS, the former cop, to appoint this lady and her team as special reserve police officers, SRPs. So when you are SRP, you exercise greater authority than ordinary citizens. You enforce the law as a police officer. They can question suspects, they can search, they can arrest people. The confidential work of the police in Trinidad and Tobago can be sent to England for them to sit down in their garden, have a cup of tea, and scones, and look through confidential papers from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. That's why they make them SRP. So they can stay in England and Mako Trinidad, because the police had complained about that. Brothers and sisters, this is a diabolical act. Rowley in an article yesterday, the Express had an article, SRP Kate returns. Brothers and sisters, not me, I am not the SRP. It's the next lady here. Brothers and sisters, they hounded them down. Yesterday, Rowley made a point, and I want to take him up on that. He says they are happy to spend $18 million US to deal with white-collar crime. That is fine. Brothers and sisters, nothing is wrong with any government using resources to fight white-collar crime. That is critical. And every government has a duty to find resources to deal with white-collar crime. The problem here is not that, Keith Rowley. The problem here is that you as Prime Minister and Stuart Young as Minister and Alwari as then Attorney General, you cannot direct the police on who to appoint as SRP, which lawyer to retain. You cannot select lawyers, choose which case to follow up on. You cannot identify political targets. You cannot determine the cost of lawyers. The police is independent. They must determine who they hire, how much they pay, what are the matters they need help in. You cannot tell the police that. And that is what the former commissioner is complaining about. He said it in an article yesterday. That was one of the problems. They were hounding him down. They were harassing him and directing him to appoint these people as SRP. And to pay them with money that came from finance to the TTPS. But they said that money is only to pay them. Huh? They raised the price of fuel. Today, children have to go to school on April 19th and pay more money for transport. What poetic injustice that you raise the price of fuel the same day you open the school. So parents have to pay more money. And $40 million gone already to pay them. Brothers and sisters, this is a dictatorship. the TTPS was told who are the political targets and who they must concentrate on. And I'm coming with that information in a few minutes. Their contract was extended when the TTPS recommended that their contract not be extended. But Rowley and Stuart Young and Alwari didn't want that. They wanted them to go after their political enemies. So they are SRPs who are citizens of another country, who took an oath as SRP to be loyal and faithful to the state of Trinidad and Tobago. So they will be loyal and faithful to Trinidad and Tobago while being a citizen of the United Kingdom or Australia. That is the point here. Brothers and sisters, there's enough case law from the Endell Thomas judgment of 1982 to the Anissa Webster and others versus the Attorney General of 2015 at the Privy Council, which sets out that SRPs must be appointed, disciplined, and removed by independent authorities who are themselves insulated from political control. That is the law. But they're directing the police who to appoint as SRP. The classic case is Endell Thomas, and I will quote from that because that is the position of the law. It says forcefully, and I quote, "The purpose of Chapter 8 of the Constitution, which bears the rubric, the public service, is to insulate members of the civil service, the teaching service, and the police service from political influence exercised directly upon them by any government of the day." That is the law. But they have taken Endell Thomas and turned him on his head, upside down, by directing the police. They are desperate, and they have embarked on a political reign of terror. After that licking they got in Tobago in December, you remember that? They kicked them out of Tobago. They come now to make more trouble in Trinidad because they can't go there. They know that their fate will be worse in Trinidad than in Tobago in 2025 or before they will go. In 2025 or before they will go. So they are now on a reign of terror. But I want to assure you, brothers and sisters and the national community, that 40 million will be returned to the TTPS to pay outstanding monies to police officers. We will question the EMM and Superintendent SRP Kate McMahon to get back the $40 million to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And we have more information coming to that. And if need be, when we return to office with our colleagues, we will discuss what is the possibility of taking that 40 million from Keith Rowley gratuity and from his pension. If we have to, we'll take it from their pension and their gratuity. I see the other night, this clown that called himself the Prime Minister go on a platform, he want to frighten UNC politician. He like doing that now. He's saying police looking for UNC politicians who, with the opposition leader and so on. How we know that? He dreamed that? He's a seer man? How we know that? I want to tell Rowley tonight. That the police talked to me in Trinidad once. Once in the last 5 to 7 years. When they came to me, they came to interview me in Trinidad and Port of Spain. I said, but what trouble are you now? Tell me. They wanted me to talk about Keith Rowley conduct. It's to talk about he. And I will tell you something that I told very few people now. And I'll tell you. Earlier this year, I was coming through an airport in the United States. And about 2 burly, big policemen, clearly law enforcement officers, clearly armed, approached me. They say, Dr. Moonilal. I say, yes, with some nervousness. They say, we want to talk to you. I said, but I have a flight to catch. They said, but we have to talk to you. I said, all right, no problem. If you have to talk to me, you have to talk to me. I can't do nothing about that. Put me in a corner, I sit down there. I said, but what trouble the lion in now, boy? They told me that they have taken note of developments in Trinidad and Tobago and interviewed me for 2 hours, brothers and sisters, about the conduct of Keith Christopher Rowley. Wow. They wanted to know from me more information than I had given before on matters on Keith Rowley, the United States Law Enforcement Authority. You understand what's happening here? This fella is a pest, not only in Trinidad and Tobago, he looks like he's a pest abroad too. So I tell Rowley, the only time police talk to me is to discuss you. That's what they want to talk to me about. When I finish, they escort me to buy gift and thing to carry home. And I want to tell Rowley tonight, you see when blue lights come to me, it's normally in front to escort me. It's not in the back to chase me. And he must be very careful. Because today he have blue lights in front of him. When he demit office, he might have the blue lights in the back of him. You see? All of them. Tim reminds me all. They have mistaken the role of the National Security Council. Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa was chairman of the National Security Council. I was a member of that National Security Council. That is a subcommittee of cabinet, just as the FNGP, something called Finance and General Purposes Committee, something called Social Policy Committee, and so on. Cabinet has several committees, all Legislative Review Committee and all type of thing. The National Security Council is a subcommittee of cabinet that is there for policy, to approve resources, funds, and so on, brothers and sisters. That is not an operational arm of law enforcement. Rowley, being guided by his golf caddy, believed that he's policeman and is directing the police and saying, I is national security chairman, so I appointing people to investigate a firearm license. You cannot do that. Then he's the Barbados policemen, I think it's some pensioners from Barbados come. He make them special reserve police too. He said they're investigating DSS. Rowley is doing that. He said, I am national security chairman. That is a subcommittee of cabinet. That is not law enforcement operational arm. There is no law in this country that provides for a National Security Council. There's no statute that deals with their operation. They don't have a report to put before the parliament, like the police. So brothers and sisters, he has mistakenly, not innocently, he has deliberately and fraudulently adopted a position that he can participate in law enforcement. And that is a crisis we face. That happens in other parts of the world. Every backward country, underdeveloped, poor, that has been overrun by a dictatorship, the president always assumes law enforcement authority. And brothers and sisters, I don't know, when he was small, he probably wanted to be a policeman, Anil. He probably wanted to be a policeman. He probably watched too much police show. Well, I saw him on TV at a function recently. The way he dressed, I thought I was seeing a character from a police show called Starsky and Hutch. It had a fella called Huggy Bear. Oh, I remember he was a pimp. Snoop Dogg, I think, played the role. He looked like Huggy Bear. That was how he appeared on television, brothers and sisters. That is how he looked. So, brothers and sisters, Rowley has mistakenly, deliberately adopted a role as law enforcement. Now I have to go to another matter. I am now going to show you some business, some articles, some excerpts of reports. Now these are reports sent to me from a whistleblower. Now do not assume that the whistleblower is in Trinidad and Tobago. A whistleblower could be anywhere in the world. These are reports that came from that British team, EMM, to the police in Trinidad and Tobago. Now it's very important that we keep our mind focused. This was from a whistleblower who was fed up. He couldn't stomach it anymore. The political witch hunt, the unrelenting persecution of opposition politics, the hounding down. And this is what he sent. As I say, you're not sure where he sent it from. But after 7 years of witch hunting, these reports, what the report is saying is, things not bright at all. Things not bright with all the investigations taking place. The first page on your screen, we have deliberately blurred everything because we are not interested in giving you facts, situation, or names or anything. We are not doing that. There is a statement that you will see there on page 1 of a report at point 11. Here is what the English people are telling the police. Here's what, at point 11, they have given options after years of work, options of what the police could do and how they can go forward. But they're saying the options is not good because at point 11, the disadvantage of this case is that this means that no one from government is being prosecuted. You all understand that? No one from the partnership government, that is what they're investigating. The disadvantage of this option, look at on the screen here, that's why I'm reporting, is that no one from the government of the People's Partnership could be prosecuted. That is what they are saying. And they said that's the disadvantage. You go to the next one at number 17. Another option to go forward and continue investigating so they could continue to make more money. Every time they continue is more money. And these are official documents. Another option they gave to continue. Hear what they say at point 17. the disadvantage remains that no government official is likely to be available for prosecution. Meaning that nobody in the cabinet of Kamla Prasad Bisesa can be prosecuted for criminal activity, and they have no evidence. That is what they are saying there. They say, look, we could follow up on things, but there's really a disadvantage now. We sad. You go to the next one at point 24. Another option they gave to the police in dealing with matters that they are investigating, EMBDC and live sport in particular, because they like me and Anil now. They like me and Anil. I think so. Here what they say at point 24. The disadvantage is the possibility that senior officials and executives will not be prosecuted. Could you imagine an independent legal team with this political lens advising the police that they are only concerned with the politicians? They are $40 million, they're only concerned with UNC partnership politicians and ministers. Other people, I think we are concerned with them. They said that's the disadvantage of the case we're giving you now, is that there will be no government minister of the UNC. That is what they are saying. And the next one is a blockbuster one. I thought I'd show you all this. Imagine they have a report, and at the top, there was another point on that page, yes, I'm seeing it here. At number 29, another factual case scenario. They call it narrative theory. They put out a next theory to continue to make money, more than 40 million. They said the advantage of this case, if it continues, is, this may include a person of significant political influence. Now you understand that? They said they want more money because they have nothing yet, no evidence, they can't prosecute, they can't arrest, they can't do nothing. But if we continue with this one, the advantage of this case is it could include a person of significant political influence. That is what they're about. Tonight, I am not tipping off anybody. I am tipping off the DPP of Trinidad and Tobago as to what they are doing. They are on a political witch hunt. And the last page, they have a report, and would you believe the heading of a report? Notes on political developments of investigations. You could imagine that? An independent legal firm from England writing the police in Trinidad and say, we have notes on the political developments of investigation. They're concerned with politics. They are not concerned with fighting white-collar crime. And I just want to quote something here because I find it fascinating. A prosecution of the political controlling minds would be preferable. Meaning this politician they're looking for, not white-collar crime criminal and thing, politician. They say they have a meeting scheduled for Thursday, 28 January, about a change of focus in the prosecution to enable a more direct prosecution of Dr. Roodal Moonilal. They love me. Another 40 million going, and me ain't getting none of that. You could rest assured. I find these people should give me some stipend or fee or something for making money on my head, They're going with $40 million. They have nothing yet. So brothers and sisters, this is the shocking and tragic detail of where our democracy is. Brothers and sisters, they target everyone. They are on a wild goose chase, a witch hunt. And in the coming days, I want to warn people, they may want to search everybody who ever got a donation from the partnership government. They might want to search, they might want to find and question anybody, whether it's a sports club, a fashion club, a bazaar, a Ramlila. Ramlila got a donation, they might go to interview Ram and Sita. Now, the last time people trouble Sita, they burn them down. So I want to warn them, don't disturb Sita. So brothers and sisters, this is where they are taking this. So today, we pledge tonight, I have the authority of speaking to my lawyers who have said that it is our intention to write the DPP in Trinidad and Tobago on the conduct of this foreign British team that is working for the PNM, for the political hounding down of opposition members. Tonight we say to you, time to investigate Kate. It's time to investigate Kate. And their role in this matter, we will write the DPP. We will also write the Law Society of the United Kingdom to complain of the covert political role played by UK lawyers and other professionals in undermining our constitution. And of course, we will copy all letters to SRP Kate at her work address. Her work address, in case you want to know, is 35 Cock Lane, London. And I didn't make up that, that is real. Today, listen, simmer down. I only have a few minutes there. Please, please. Today, were you laughing still so? Today, I want to call out the past High Commissioner Tim Stew and ask if he had any role to play in working with the PNM government post-2015 to recruit EMM or any other firm to hound down and persecute political opponents of Keith Rowley. Tim Stew, he's in Panama now, brothers and sisters. And in closing, let me also indicate that it also, yesterday in the newspaper, I will just quickly, the high-profile interception involving drug connections. 1 week ago, the political leader alerted this country, rightfully, accurately, that they were using new spy equipment to spy on political opponents, social activists, civic leaders, anyone in opposition to the PNM. That, brothers and sisters, came out yesterday when a reporter in the Express writes and quoting from police interception, information from police interception. She's quoting. So who gave the reporter interception data? Who? Was it the police, Clement, the constable you appointed? Was it the ministers? But the information is being used to target political opponents of the PNM. So Kamla Prasad Bisesa was correct, was accurate, was right. She is correct that they are using spy equipment on political opponents. And we must be careful of that. So brothers and sisters, I think my time is up. In closing, we will talk another time on other matters to deal with other pressing matters in the country. But to tell you that this same clown who came to the parliament with Emailgate said to believe him now, trust him now. He came with Emailgate, huh? He said, trust him now. We're not using spy equipment to spy on no political opponents. Could you believe Rowley? Could anybody believe Rowley? But he children can't believe him, as Anil say. So brothers and sisters, you know, and closing, I want to tell the political leader, this fella, when he talks about the political leader, I have noticed over the years, I don't know you, I noticed he has some fetish with dress and attire of the opposition leader. He always, and makeup. He always talking about makeup and nightie and duster and so on. So, I want to ask him, now he talk about the dress of the political leader and what she wear to meet people and so on. Always he about nightie and duster and thing and half a slip. Brothers and sisters, I want to ask him if he's the same prime minister. But he envy, you see, one is pretty and one is otherwise. I want to ask him if he's the same man. Are you the same prime minister who on several occasions come down from upstairs to meet the former commissioner of police in a bathrobe? Now I want to tell you something. If I see in a bathrobe, I run. I ain't know about Guy Griffith, but I run. That is the nature of the man. That's the nature of this creature that run in this country, brothers and sisters. So don't take lies, don't take deception and hypocrisy. We must band together, we must mobilize, we must ensure we remain united, and we must fight. Brothers and sisters, the UNC is within striking distance of the government. We have the most seats the UNC ever had in history. We are 2 seats away from the government. And we're not depending on nobody to bring 2 seats. We will win 2 and more. We will win 2 and more. We are within striking distance of the government. Once we hold together, keep the unity and keep the struggle, we will remove Keith Rowley and the PNM from the political face of this earth. So stand tall and God bless you all.